welcome back to Florida's gorgeous Paradise Coast. The Broward Motorsports Pro Watercross World Championships presented by Yamaha, and we have arrived at our final event. You know, this is the 20th year Pro Watercross has been putting on personal watercraft racing, and the one class that has really grown in popularity over those 20 years is the one you're about to see, Pro Ski GP. These truly are jet skis, because they're stand-up watercraft and they require a high degree of athletic endurance as well as a willingness to check your inhibition at the door, and there is no shortage of racers willing to do just that.
You know, it's 180 horsepower without any brakes, so you know, that's definitely going to make it interesting too.
One lap it can be smooth, the next lap you could have a big hole in the turn and you're going underwater.
You know, watercross, the waves are always different. Every inch of the track is different every lap.
It's pretty scary because now we're doing 65 to 70 miles an hour and no one has brakes, so you really have to trust the guy next to you.
The skis are super fast. You know, most people don't know how powerful these watercraft are. But, you know, the skis that we're racing now are upwards of 180 horsepower. So, you know, they accelerate from 0 to 60 or 65 miles an hour in, you know, 2.2, 2.3 seconds.
When you come out to a watercross event, you can always expect loud skis, fast skis, and a lot of pretty much carnage going on.
Yeah, so 0 to 60 in just over 2 seconds. This should be a whole lot of fun. And Don and Mike, some good news. The rain is letting up just a little bit. It should allow these racers that much more incentive to be able to test their watercraft to the limits here today.
Back up on the line for Pro-Am Ski GP, and what a lineup of celebrities. You've got Chris McCluggage, who's about to make the water right here in Naples, Florida, his hometown. But Josh Block, David Redinger, Brock Austin, also Jimmy Wilson, Dustin Motzuris. It feels like a who's who list when you talk about the Ski GP class. All of them about to compete for a world title. I would not want to put a bet on who's going to take the whole shot. Down to Carly.
Dave mentioned this class is popular among the young riders, one of those being Jimmy Wilson, who's just 26 years old. He's only been racing for 3 years, and in 2014, it was his first full pro national circuit. So we'll see what he can do compared to veterans like Bill Hague, who's been riding for 30 years. We'll see if experience or those young guys will take home that world championship today. Back to you.
We are off and away, and on the outside, it looks like Brock Austin. Yeah, that is Jimmy Wilson. Jimmy Wilson jumping out there in a hurry. And again, looking to get that Shark Energy hole shot, as whoever comes through those checkered buoys first, right there by our flag stand, will be our Shark Energy hole shot winner. And here comes Wilson, and it looks like it's going to be Wilson. Austin going to have the drive on the outside. Yeah, Jimmy Wilson trying to pick up where he left off. You know, he took a couple months off because his wife was pregnant, and he had to spend some time at home while she was in the hospital. Glad to have him back out here and on the racetrack.
Yeah, couldn't happen to a nicer guy. I know he wasn't able to make all the tour this year. Right behind him is Brock Austin, gentleman aboard that big orange boat. Looks like Jimmy Wilson going to choose to take the inside. Brock Austin going to take the outside split. See if he can make up some time on Jimmy Wilson.
Yeah, Wilson, one of those tough riders to pass when he gets out there in front. When he gets a lead, we haven't seen him get past too much, but if anybody could do it, it would be Brock Austin. And Brock Austin's got Mark Queen spinning the wrenches for him from Queen Racing. And you can see only about a second and a half between first and second. And back in that third spot, we got Chris McCluggage.
So I tell you, when you've got Chris McCluggage behind you, you've got to be picture perfect in these splits. You've got the perfect look right now between these two splits. The inside and outside is actually Brock that was on that outside split.
Yeah, Austin charging right now as he gets out the broom and tries to sweep hard around that sweeping turn on the bottom right-hand side of the track, but don't look now, but he's got company as well. Here comes Chris McCluggage now challenging Austin.
Yeah, and Jimmy Wilson actually opened up the door a little bit on that chicane. You could see Brock Austin trying to sneak in, but McCluggage going to be that spoiler, and he is watching Austin critically close. If he sees that Austin blows a turn at all, he's going to sneak in right under his shoulder.
Boat number 300, Jimmy Wilson, again, originally from Hebron, Ohio, now living in North Carolina, where he spends his Monday through Friday as a fireman. And he is getting another battle down for Brock Austin. Here we go. Austin again sweeping hard, bottom right-hand side of the track. And Chris McCluggage watching it all happen in front of him in third place.
Brock Austin, who had already won an event this year. He got his first tour event win. It was a great surprise for him and his family. He was super excited. And you could tell that he is hanging it out right now, trying to get around Jimmy Wilson. Jimmy's a very quiet rider, but it's deceptive, that quietness, because he's incredibly fast. Brock Austin, though, super fun, running right behind him. And look how Jimmy Wilson just lays down those turns, dropping the handle pole down, keeping that center of gravity down.
All right, let's go down to Carly with an interview from Steve Webster.
Yes, the co-owner of Team Commander Industries. You have several riders out there, two of those being Dustin and Tyron Matsuras, the brothers. Talk about the dynamic of them on the team.
They're both, they're really tight brothers. They do really, they work well together. They train together. Whenever Tyron's in the U.S., he's a big part of our team. Tyron, he builds our hulls back in South Africa. Dustin and I build the race boats here. We work well together. We all do our part to make this thing happen.
And Dustin told me they don't favor each other out there. They go hard. Thank you so much. We'll let you get back to watching them. Back to you.
Tyron Matsuras with a great career, started in 2005. Fun to hear from the team manager. Back on the track, it's Jimmy Wilson that we are focused in on right now. Love how he's dropping that handle pull down again, staying in firm control of this lead. The way you do that is you got to hold that pack off, and he's got fast guys behind him.
Jimmy Wilson, once again, I can remember the first race that I seen Jimmy at. Jimmy was actually 1 year old as we were in Canal Fulton, Ohio, up at the Great Lakes Challenge Tour back in 1989.
And that quick shot of Chris McCluggage still trying to sneak his way into the lead. And Jimmy Wilson just popped off at that final turn onto the front stretch. And it is a three-way battle, Mike, for second.
And it looks like Chris McCluggage getting the position right there. Brock Austin still challenging him. But McCluggage with position will move up into second place. So boat number 30, Chris McCluggage riding for Monster Energy, will move into second place. Brock Austin back to third.
I've been talking to Carly earlier about this. When you're halfway through the race, sometimes that's a perfect time to pounce. Chris McCluggage was just waiting for his opportunity. Meanwhile, Jimmy Wilson, as I said, he's going to protect those buoys that stay tight.
All right, let's take a look at that pass. McCluggage just getting position there on Brock, and then takes him a little bit wide. Brock has to readjust, and that gives McCluggage all the breathing room that he needs. Well, I'll tell you, the split track, that's where you can find clean water, Don. I mean, that's why Jimmy is being a very smart rider. He had some lap riders on the outside. He opted to go to the inside where he could find a much smoother water. And Chris McCluggage, oh, look at this. Chris McCluggage has taken the lead from the outside. So McCluggage obviously finding the smoother water in that trip around the split section.
Well, you and I had been talking about the lap traffic. That could have been a factor. As you look down on the water, Jimmy's still wanting to stay tight into those buoys, now holding on to second, drops down low into the tray, still working through these lap riders.
Well, once again, experience taking control here. Chris McCluggage, Sioux City. We'll take a look at the pass coming out of the split as McCluggage had the drive coming from that outside as the green flag flies from the tower, and not too much time left as we are under 4 minutes.
You'll notice back there picking up the green buoy. The reason for that, if they feel like that they have missed a buoy out on the track, that penalty buoy or the green buoy that's just the farthest buoy before they go on to the front stretch, that's their only opportunity on this lap to be able to make up a missed buoy.
Yeah, that's definitely where you don't want to go, and we are getting the 2-minute call from our tower, so it looks like there'll be approximately 3 laps left to go as when Chris makes another pass back by, and I can see the blue flag coming out. And here comes your leader, Chris McCluggage. McCluggage still about 5 seconds or so ahead of Brock Austin. Starting to extend on that lead. Now we've got a lap rider in between them. And, when McCluggage gets that far ahead, it looks like this one could be over quickly. However, again, these are GP boats and anything could happen.
It's really fun to watch these different riders and the riding styles that vastly differ. When you watch Chris McCluggage out on the water, he's not afraid to power his way through these waves. He has been on these boats over 20 years. You'll notice he drops those handlebars down way low when he comes into a turn. That's because he is going to pour that throttle on as much as he can. He's already worked his way through that technical section, and as he opens it up on that backstretch, jumps right into the attack position, goes all the way down into that turn, and he is going to maintain the speed, and those are the ways to do it. I tell you, the guy could put on a clinic on how to turn a buoy.
Well, I'll tell you, he is sponsored by Monster Energy, Mac Racing, Bullet Racing, Jet Pilot, Liquid Militia, Scat Track, Jet Trim, and ADA Racing, all in his corner and in his favor, and right now making his sponsors proud.
The Mac attack is what we call him. You can certainly see why. Look at this attack position that he's got with the white flag out, Mike.
Yeah, the white flag, less than a lap to go for your leader, and Brock Austin still in that second place. He's got a pole in the water. He's trying to reel in McCluggage. It's now or never for B-Rock as they work their way around the bubble and into the chicane section.
You know, watch B-Rock so much this year. He just seems to be getting faster and faster. He's had a lot of help. And actually, the gentleman that's in front of him right now, Chris McCluggage, has been helping B-Rock this last week or so. And you can certainly tell, not just in the riding style, but all of a sudden the boats are going even faster. So I think it's really cool that the gentleman that he's been helping is running up there right behind him in second. So Chris McCluggage.
Well, here we go one last time down the back straightaway for Chris McCluggage and Brock Austin. Once again, Austin about 3 seconds off the pace, being put down by McCluggage. And 5 more buoys to negotiate, and this business deal is in the books.
Well, once again, McCluggage choosing to take that outside split, pulling a little bit of a gamble. No problem, though, because B-Rock is going to follow him through that outside. Both of them clearly thinking that that is going to be the faster way to go as they run their way through those splits.
Ladies and gentlemen, the checkered flag is out. How about that checkered flag for Chris McCluggage? Out of Lake Havasu City, originally from Naples, and I know that he's got a lot of family here, and this kid has to be proud.
We'll be right back with the winner right after this.